Hey gang, it's JC, and this is the Daily Dose for Thursday, January 20th, 2011, a cooperative venture with Mind Active in beautiful downtown Brentwood. Archives top of the page, we have some great stuff on the Wayback Machine in the Video Village, some great old clips from TV programs that I was involved in and TV programs I wasn't involved in, but just great historic television stuff on both of those features, and you can look at the menu bar up there. And then we have eye candy along the bottom of the screen. We'll talk about that in a minute, but every day we put something up for you that's either a viral video or a funny picture or sometimes a couple of pictures, as is the case today, and you can see all of them right along the eye candy strip right below what you're looking at right now. All right, well, they were right about the weather forecast, weren't they? You know, we tried to tell you yesterday that this wasn't going to be one of these situations where they say 3 to 6 inches and then everybody gets about 2.5 and it's a no big deal. You could see early on that the weather guys were pulling back because a lot of their computer models were saying that this was in the 6 to 12 or even 12 to 15 range. But when you're a weather guy, you got to almost be 100% sure that that's going to happen before you go on the air and start telling people that, because there's widespread panic. And then if the storm moves 50 miles either way, it can have just a dramatic impact on how much snowfall you get. But they pretty much nailed it. But we knew yesterday. We knew that the guys were holding back, and we tried to tell you that this was going to be a whopper. I'm looking outside right now. I think we probably got about 7 or 8 inches where I am, and boy, I'm hearing stories up in Florissant where, you know, it's like 10, 12 inches, and by the time you're watching this later on today, the snow will be coming to an end. But when all is said and done, I think Lambert, as of 7 o'clock this morning, had 8.8 inches. We're getting up to that 1982 blizzard of all time, the one that forces everybody into the Schnucks stores to buy bread, milk, and eggs. Well, that's why we opened the Schnucks Panic Out, and that was 13.9 inches. And by the time that this thing is done, in Lambert, it could be close. I don't think it's going to make it, but it could be close. So this was a whopper, and as I said, we tried to tell you yesterday that this was no false alarm. Every once in a while, we know what we're talking about, okay? All right, what else we got here? I just want to give a little shout-out to Lori Mack. Lori Mack was relieved of her duties at K-Hits day before yesterday, and here is somebody who was just great on the air, and a great partner and a great person to have around, and brought quite a bit of intelligence to the show, you know, because when John and Carl and I were looking at each other because we didn't know something, we could always turn to Lori, and chances are Lori would know something about it. She had numerous television appearances and stage appearances and things like that. She looked great, and every Christmas was responsible almost single-handedly for requisitioning. Oh, hold it, that's Trish. Hold on a second here. Hi, I'm in the middle of the Daily Dose. Can you call me back in 10 minutes? All right, thanks. When you're beyond the Daily Dose, here, let me put you on the speakerphone here. Hold on here. All right, say hi to everybody, Trish.
Hi, everybody.
All right, there you go. Call me in 10 minutes.
Okay,
bye. Bye. I try to keep it live here. I try to keep it live. So, but anyhow, back to Lori. And every Christmas was responsible almost single-handedly, as I was saying, for requisitioning almost $50,000 worth of merchandise for that little promotion, the 12, or in some cases the 13 days of Christmas that we used to do. But in these days, doesn't mean jack squat to the people who run radio stations. Speaking of radio stations, definitely, the biggest radio station sale in 6 years occurred yesterday, and let me tell you about the Bonneville Group. The Bonneville Group owns 3 radio stations here: WIL, 101 ESPN, and The Arch. Okay? So they own those 3 stations here. And then they have stations all over the country, owned by the Mormons. So along comes a little company out of Minneapolis called Hubbard Broadcasting. I think they have 3 stations, and then they got a lot of TV. And I guess they made something like a couple of $1 billion a couple of years ago by selling a satellite channel that they had to DirecTV. So they got a couple $1 billion. So they come along and they buy something like 16 of the Bonneville stations, including the 3 here in St. Louis, for I think it's $505 million. It comes out to about $30 million per station. Somebody actually said that to me last night. It's like, why don't you buy your own station? It's like, okay, come up with a 30 mil and we're in business. So you never know how that's going to impact a company. You know, whenever you're working for somebody who is not the guy who hired you, you're in a precarious position. And so the question is, what's going to happen to those stations now? It usually takes a while for a sale like this to go through. But that having been said, Bonneville was always viewed by radio talent in this town as the place to work. Why? Because they treated their employees very, very well. They have a state-of-the-art facility. They call it the Palace on Ballas, up at Ballas and Olive. And they have like a legendary benefits package. And everybody wanted to work at Bonneville one way or another. People said, I'll work for less money just because of the facility, how they treat their people, and because of that benefits package. Well, that probably goes out the window now. So, who knows? Who knows anymore? Still waiting for some of the details to come out about this situation involving a guy who used to do mornings. Well, actually, probably more people knew him from afternoons at Y98. And then mornings at the Bull, the old 93.7 used to be the frequency where we did classic rock for a long time. Guy's name is Craig Cornett, and he's in the paper today for allegedly having beaten up a 75-year-old man in a casino parking lot. I'm going to wait to see till more of the details come out before I have something to say about this. I just get really, really nervous about, especially when the story is written by Deb Peterson, and let's just leave it at that. All right, what else we got here? Got that. Oh, American Idol last night. Well, you know what? This was the thing that I was sort of mystified by. Last year, well, I guess it was 2 years ago, when they brought on Ellen DeGeneres and Cara DiGuardi. All right, so people were like, oh, okay. And I'm like, all right, fine. And I thought Ellen was good. I thought Cara was good. I grew to like Cara more in the second season. I think she sort of grew into the role a little bit. So they get rid of them. The antibiotics are kicking in, but not completely, not yet. Still trying to lose this cough. So now they bring in Steven Tyler, arguably one of the most seasoned rock and roll veterans you could find, and Jennifer Lopez, who brings sort of that pop, almost borderline hip-hop stuff in. And these are musicians. And yet there was more trepidation. There were more skeptics involved in bringing two musicians in than there were bringing in Cara DiGuardi, who nobody ever heard of before, and a stand-up comedian and a talk show host. So that all having been said, I saw most of the show last night, and I think the energy and the spirit is still there. I think the show will probably do really well. We'll see if they can sort of keep this up. As Trish reported in Trish's Trash yesterday on the Big 550 KTRS, where we do a show every day from 10 until 1, Anne Hathaway is going to play Catwoman in the third Batman movie, The Dark Knight Rises. That's going to hit theaters in July of next year. Joan and Melissa Rivers were scheduled to be on Fox News today, but yesterday they dropped her, and Joan believes that she was cut over some negative comments she recently made about Sarah Palin, and also about somebody else in the panel, Bristol, whatever. And so they think that they canceled them from the Fox and Friends on the Fox News channel because... and people still buy into that crap, too. I still can't believe it. Not surprisingly, the ratings for Piers Morgan tonight, this is the guy who took over for Larry King on CNN, the ratings dropped significantly on Tuesday, its second night. That was the night with Howard Stern. It dropped from 2.1 million viewers down to 1.3 million viewers, and my guess is it'll continue to fall. Larry King, by the time he left, was somewhere in the 6 to 7 or 800,000 range. Although, a long time ago, he was doing a lot better than that. Hugh Hefner says Playboy is coming to the iPad. If you've got an iPad, get ready, because he said it's going to be uncensored. So there you go. Maybe this will finally put to rest, although why am I saying that? It's not going to. The governor of Hawaii tracked down President Obama's birth certificate, found it in their archives. And yes, he was born in Hawaii. He was born there. He's eligible to be president. Like I said, I said one thing, and the minute it came out of my mouth, I realized somebody was just going to say, well, he obviously forged it. So what are you going to do? This is my favorite story of the day. In Florida, 5 teenage burglars broke into a house and found what they thought was a huge score of either cocaine or heroin. So they snorted it. There was only one problem. It wasn't drugs. It was the cremated ashes of the homeowner's father and 2 Great Danes. These guys were snorting dog and human remains. The cops eventually arrested all 5 burglars. My guess is they're coughing more than I am today. All right, JC's Eye Candy, I got you a double bill here today. You know, you can't teach this kind of class. This bombshell McGee who broke up the marriage between Sandra Bullock and Jesse James. So she's in the doctor's office the other day, getting ready to have a LASIK procedure. And she picks up one of the magazines that's laying there, and she starts licking the face of Sandra Bullock. Okay, so she got Sandra Bullock's picture there, and she starts licking the face right there. And then also along today, Nadia Suleman, the Octomom, is doing a. All right, let me just get this right. It's a fetish video. She's trying to raise a little cash. Apparently, the garage sale didn't come up with the $465,000 she needs to hold on to her house. Amazingly, a garage sale didn't raise almost $500,000. So she does this fetish video with some Los Angeles radio personality called Tattoo, and she's in this bustier thing, and we have a little areola showing, but that ain't gonna hurt anybody. Anyway, that's JC's Eye Candy today. All right, so again, we are on our way. Like I said, it's a little dark in here today. It's still snowing. We have about 8-9 inches of snow on the ground where I live, so I got to leave early and get to the show today. We are on the air every day, Monday through Friday, from 10 o'clock until 1 in the afternoon. Me and Trish Gazelle, Eric Mink on Tuesday. Wednesday we have the ladies. Thursday, professional comedian Joe Marlotti and Smash joins us every Friday. All this in the 11 o'clock hour, but we're on from 10 until 1. Me and Trish on the big 550 KTRS. We'll talk to you then. In the meantime, that's it. JC's Daily Dose for Thursday, January 20th, 2011. A cooperative venture with Mind Active in beautiful downtown Brentwood. Stay out of that snow. In the meantime, we've beaten this one to death. Have a good one. See you later. Bye.